Hello and welcome to the Build with Bear Workshop. My name is Pat Bear. I'm here to build a model kit. I'm also here to hang out with all of you. And I'm going to start things off by throwing the Bear Cave, the Lego, the Scythe, the Tier 2 blue emote in the chat. If you are currently a subscriber, you can reply with those emotes. If you are not yet a subscriber, you can use other people's emotes. You can be a lurker. You can just say hi. You've got options, and it's okay if you want to lurk tonight. If you would like to just hang out while I build a old design of a model kit that was re-released at some point. This is a 2003 model kit, but this is a re-release, so the plastic's not that old. Well, I don't know exactly when, but I know it was a reissue because of the box design. I can tell that's a reissue. If you want to watch me work on the RGM-79D GM Cold Districts type high grade, it's a mouthful, and just chill in chat. If you're watching this later in the VOD, either on YouTube or here on Twitch, you can just hang out. I'm currently at 25 subscribers. My goal is to get to 40 subscribers. I shut up about how many subscribers I have when I hit my goal until the goal dips down. You want to become a subscriber tonight? You want to gift a sub? You want to do that? It's cool. You want to hear the new dance song for the month because it's November and we have a new song. There's the dance button. You can use your channel points for that. If you feel like just relaxing, if you want to vent about some stuff in the chat, you can do that too. That's also okay. I know a few people are like not. There are going to be people who normally watch the streams that are probably going to bounce tonight because they don't want to hang out. And I understand that too. Yeah, I get it. It makes sense. There has never been, today anyway, today and yesterday, there were no moments where I thought, hey, Lord Crashington, welcome. There were no moments yesterday or today where I thought, what if I didn't stream? Didn't occur to me. I went on as usual, and I'm going to keep on keeping on. Now, that's not to say that there may come a time where because there may come a time where I just go, you know what, I'm not feeling it. And I let that happen here. There have been days where I just don't feel like doing it because I'm not feeling well mentally or physically or both. Or both. I have had those instances where it's just like, it's just not going to happen. And I call an audible on those. I try not to do that. I try to, because especially day of, right? A couple hours before, I don't want to miss out on the stream because I've promoted it. I've told people about it. And there are people who consistently make my streams part of their schedule. And that means the world to me. Also, as a reminder, I really enjoy doing this. I really like streaming. I don't do model kit building outside of streams these days, just because of cost of model kits and all that. I don't build Lego sets outside of stream, so it is my chance to play and work with the stuff that I like working with, and also I get to see people and chat. It is a nice bit of self-expression here. The streams, some months streaming pays for itself, some months it doesn't. I'll be real about it. And I've had a subscription decline over the last few years that is reasonable and understandable. I don't go out of my way to, I don't ask people to collab so that I can introduce myself to an audience that might not know me. I have done some collabs. I've enjoyed some collabs. I don't push it that hard, right? Like, I haven't done a loading ready run stream in a while. I should reach out to them in December or in next year and be like, hey, if there's another Jackbox stream you're doing, that would make sense to be a guest on. I've had a ball doing that. I should be doing that. I should be saying like, hey, the people that I know that do stuff, I should reach out to them and say like, hey, what's going on with you? Is there anything, should we collab on something? Does that make sense? I should be doing that. I haven't been doing that. I have just kind of been doing my own thing and enjoying it, right? Doing my own stream this year for charity was not the plan originally. I didn't do Plastic Model Weekender because I wanted to make room for other people and because I was in communication with a group that was going to do a big charity event where I would be reaching a different audience. And when that fell through, I was just like, okay, well, I'm just going to do my own thing this time. But I still fully believe that I should be reaching out to an audience that doesn't necessarily know who I am to keep things interesting. Because there are probably more cool people out there that would like to do stuff with us, right? It's a thing where I'm like, I do need to be more proactive out there about collabs and about joining in with people and doing things like that, inviting people to be on the stream, that kind of thing. I should do that, right? That makes sense and should be something that I'm actively doing, and I haven't been. But at the end of the day, streaming is fun for me, and I enjoy it. Jeff was talking about that too. Yeah, I mean, Jeff is in a position where he's got a bigger empire than I do, right? But Jeff also has more responsibilities than I do. Jeff has a wife and 3 children. So Jeff is while Jeff is on a different scale, there are people who might not know that when Jeff ended his time at Giant Bomb, that he started streaming on his own streams, that he puts up stuff on YouTube. There are people that might not know that. And you would say to yourself, well, there's no way that people don't know, because either they chose to follow or they didn't choose to follow. And it's like, no, because I'm small time. And every time I did anything for Giant Bomb, I promoted myself and my streams. When I guested on Nextlander for the Ramblecast, I promoted my streams. When I appeared on Jeff's stream to promote charity stuff, I also promoted myself. When I did panels at PAX, every panel I did at PAX that wasn't League of Heels, because that's not my show, that's the show I work on, at the end of the show, I promoted the fact that I'm a streamer. And monthly, I hear from people that are like, oh, I didn't know you streamed. Or I didn't know you still stream. So like, yeah, I'm sure there are people that don't know what Jeff is up to and would be like, oh, that's cool. Or let's also be real. There are people that don't know who Jeff Gerstmann is because they weren't paying attention to the places that he worked at. And they just don't know it. It's just not a thing that they're aware of. And so it is important to get out there and have people see who you are. There are always people that are just outside of the loop. Yeah. I mean, definitely, right? There are people who listen to Jeff's podcast that know he has, like, they know that he streams, but they've never watched a stream on Wednesday or Friday because to them, Jeff Gerstmann is the podcast guy. So they hear the ads, and that's it. That's how they communicate with Jeff Gerstmann. There's no other way to communicate with him to them, which is wild to imagine, but it's how they interact. It's how they are. So there are probably people who would like what I do, who would be definitely into what I do, that have no idea that I exist, and that would be like, I am sure there are people who still in 2024, there are people that think of Twitch as the place where people play video games and talk while they play video games, right? The idea that I build model kits, and yes, I do play video games. We did it on Tuesday. Thanks to everybody that came out for the Jackbox stream. It was fun. But there are people who probably have never even had the idea or anything to think about the fact that, oh yeah, there are people who do other things besides video games on Twitch. And it just hasn't occurred to them. I have to put some stickers on here, and I'm not sure where they go. It's a little hard to see where these go. One goes on the side. I know that. And then I don't know where these other ones go. Okay, no. So there's just one set of stickers, and it's... I can always make the image bigger, but I think I figured out which one it is. It's this one. These are very small stickers. Luckily, because we have a nice little piece of blue plastic here, or teal plastic, we don't have to put stickers on the face here. I can make this small. I'm going to shake a little bit. I can make it a little smaller. Yeah. So we're going to put stickers on here, and these are like the face vent stickers, the head vents. So we'll put that on there. We could probably do without the stickers, but we got them, so we might as well put them on. Also, it's early in the stream, so, and we don't have time. We don't have to do a sticker on the front camera or the back or anything, so that makes life a little easier. And we're almost done with the head. I am going to panel line this, and then I'm going to add in the antenna to the back that goes there, because that way I can panel line easier, and I'll panel line the back antenna as well. But yeah, that was all to say. I have planned to stream, and I was not considering not streaming. We will be raiding tonight, because I believe they will be streaming unless they are on break. We will be checking out Remap Radio tonight. At the end of the stream, that's who we'll raid tonight. On Saturday, basically any other time except for, I guess, yeah, every other stream until they're done, we'll be raiding, because they don't start till tomorrow, Desert Bus for Hope, and we'll be raising Desert Bus for Hope after every stream, because they're doing wonderful charity work. Lord Crashton wants me to dance button. It's November. Our first stream was on Monday. We didn't get to hear the music. Yes, Lord Crashington, no one has redeemed it. Here's the new dance song. Thank you for using your channel points for the new dance song. So a little rock anthem here. Little rock dance, doing a little dance there. Get a little dancing in. This one's not funky, but it's not inspirational. I believe the October song was not particularly popular because not a lot of people used the channel points for it. The October song, the inspirational song, wasn't a big, didn't feel like a big hit, and that's okay. Didn't have to be a big hit. So yeah. Tonight's agenda, we're working on this old kit, the RGM-79D GM Cold Districts type high grade, which is a mouthful, but I like it. I like the look of this kit. I picked this up and Char's Gelgoog. They're both reissues. The boxes are small. I don't even have the box on me, but the boxes are small. The instructions are small. Hey, Lashbrook. These are small kits. This plastic, even though this kit is from 2003, the design is from 2003. This plastic is newer. I don't know the exact date of when this came out, but I know it's newer than 2003. So that should be good, because sometimes old plastic can be brittle, and that's a shame. But we'll do our best with it. It's looking pretty good already. I'm just doing some panel lining here. I am using gray on this. Normally I would use black on gray, but since this is the lightest color of the kit, and it's the predominant color of it, I'm going to be using gray on it. So then everything else will kind of pop a little bit better. That is generally the plan for that. We'll panel line this, or done panel lining, we'll clean this up, then we'll attach the antenna here on the back. In the second hour, we will be talking about last weekend's episode of Dragon Ball Daima, because Saturday, of course, I did my charity stream and did not talk about anime in that stream. And then we'll talk about last Wednesday's episode of I'll Become a Villainess Who Goes Down in History, because I am still a week behind on that show. I'm going to try to get caught up, but I'm still a week behind on it. Maybe I'll get caught up one of these days. Or maybe I won't. Maybe I'll just be a week behind on it, and it's okay. I am caught up on Ari Ferretta. I am not caught up on Spirit Chronicles as far as isekais go. I have let my High Dive subscription lapse, and I will pick it up next season because there isn't anything that I want to watch on there. I have not started watching because I just keep forgetting that it started Invincible Girl, which is not an anime, but is an animated. Well, it is not a Japanese production. Of course, anime is just a Japanese word for animation. So it is technically an anime. We've been over this, but it is not. It is not a Japanese production. One of its native languages is not Japanese. But this is a weird thing that some of you may understand and some of you may not understand. I want an animated or a live action show about wrestling where wrestling isn't real. You know what I mean? Like they exist out there, right? But the idea of a cartoon about a wrestler, it seems like from the material, I've watched the trailers and all that like, oh wait, is this a world where wrestling is MMA and boxing? Because I don't think I want that. I think I want, if I was going to watch a show about wrestling, I kind of want them to be about like the world of wrestling, like understanding that it's staged. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know why. I don't want that. Like there is a manhwa about a guy that travels back in time, and he knows, and he's going to use the fact that he traveled back in time and he has knowledge of what happens in the future to be a better professional wrestler. And I was like, oh, that's so fucking funny. That'll be interesting because he knows like the behind the scenes stuff. He'll know about like events that will change. He'll know about like people who are going to quit or get injured. He can prevent injuries. He'll know that like something is going to fail, so he can like he just becomes a stronger fighter so he doesn't lose wrestling matches, because in that manhwa, wrestling is real. And I was like, it's probably a better story that way, but it's not a story that interests me as much as what I thought it might be about. Because I was like, oh, that's kind of fun. I like that idea. Because then it's like, how do I fix this creatively? And I was like, Even Kimono Michi, the anime about the wrestler who gets isekai'd and he just loves fluffy things, and so he doesn't want to kill monsters. Like, he has no interest in killing monsters. That show, wrestling is real in there. And I was like, you don't need to be real in this, because it's not even really about wrestling. And also wrestlers are, because I guess maybe if your thought was, well, if wrestling has to be real in this anime, because if it's not, then our character is fake strong and we want to be strong. And that's like obviously wrong, because wrestlers are very strong. They have to be physically, adequate, if not very. Some of the toughest people in the world are professional wrestlers. They just found wrestling. So it's that's always frustrating. It's a small thing. I know. I understand it's a small, weird thing, but that is a thing that oftentimes gets my goat. Just like, I don't want, I don't know. It's like if you were watching a show about an amusement park and all of the people that worked there thought the people in costumes were real, and it's just like, what? It would just feel weird, and you would be like, what's going on with that show? The show makes some weird choices. I don't get it. Just think it would be weird. We need 17. That's not a great analogy, but it's the analogy I have. Comparison that doesn't really work, but let's not dwell on that. Let's just move on to other conversations. Yeah. So let's see. There's not a lot of good news, period. There's just not a lot of good news. I have a couple, we'll talk about some not great stuff in the world of video games and the like. I have a couple video game things that are like kind of good, and it would be nice to talk about them. So we will talk about a couple good things. So it's November 7th. It's N7 Day. And there are some people wonder about like okay, what's going on here? Are they going to tease a Mass Effect? And it's like, well, no, they just launched um, Veilguard. They just launched the. So yeah, I didn't expect that BioWare would be like, here's a big thing going on here. Um, uh, I do know there's going to be another Mass Effect game, but I didn't think we were going to see anything Mass Effect related. Um, there is a Mass Effect thing that got announced though. Uh, let's see. The current director of the unlabeled, unannounced, not really announced next Mass Effect game is also an executive producer on a Prime Video live action series based on Mass Effect, which feels like like that. Yeah, that feels like a thing you should do, I guess. Like, I mean, if you're gonna adapt a video game, a big space epic with the success of Fallout, like, yeah, Prime's got money to fucking invest in nonsense. That's fun nonsense at least. Like, it's nice to have, like, yeah, all right, make a Mass Effect series, great. Um, One of the other executive producers, uh, he has been associated with the Super or the Nintendo franchises, like Super Mario live action, the upcoming Zelda. Um, One of the writers of Fast and Furious 9 is also an executive producer and a writer on it. Um, this is this was first, like, people first kind of heard in like 2021 that this might be happening, but now we have some confirmation. Um, and Yeah, I think that's kind of cool. Like I said, there's not a lot of like good gaming news out there, so I'm just kind of like finding what I got and putting it out and kind of commenting on it. Um, let's see what other nice ones. This could be good or bad depending on your point of view. Um, Death Stranding is no long the IP of Death Stranding is no longer solely owned by Sony. It is now uh, um, Kojima Productions now has the full IP control rights of Death Stranding. Um, uh, Kojima put out a press release about it. I should sorry. It was a publishing deal with Sony. The owners of the IP were 505 Games. 505 Games owned the IP of Death Stranding and then made a partnership deal with Sony, which certainly was not exclusive. The sequel was going to be on other things. Death Stranding is going to go to Xbox Series X and S. So yeah. Um, and there's a film coming out at some point, I guess, maybe. Um, and yes, it's been out for Windows, so now it's going to be other places. And this also is, you may remember 505 Games also this year sold back rights of Control to Remedy. Uh, Jatsu says, just get Nick Cage in it and it will be fine. I will not elaborate. I mean, Jatsu, hello, Jatsu, happy to have you here. Yeah, I mean, like, look, I don't pretend to be a big Death Stranding stan. Uh, I don't, it's not my thing, but ownership returning to companies, having IP rights, having control of the things that brought them to the table, and not being stuck with being part of the publisher and being forced to continue to work in agreements that you don't want to be in. All of that's good. I like hearing all of that. So hopefully this will lead to a more stable platform for that studio. Let's see. Take-Two, this is not necessarily good, I don't think, but Take-Two has sold its publishing label private division to an undisclosed party, which is always great. Part of the transaction, the buyer purchased our rights to substantially all of Private Division's live and unreleased titles. No Rest for the Wicked, which is in early access, is still part of Take-Two, I guess. So that's Outer Worlds, I should say, Kerbal Space Program, 2, Ollie World, Rollerdrome, Hades. It was published by Private Division. Tales of the Shire is reportedly still coming out next year. Roll 7 got closed, and there were layoffs at Intercept Games who were working on Kerbal Space Program 2 and released that. And then they were like, we didn't shutter those studios, and it was very clear that they are planning to do that. And they literally told Roll 7 they were planning on doing that. And then IGN had a report that Private Division was either going to be shut down or sold off. Looks like they were sold. And of course, a lot of people over there, because of course they would be saying this reasonably, were said that Private Division was horribly mismanaged. So being sold instead of having everyone laid off and shut down is certainly better. Is it gonna be a good thing? I can't tell you. It's weird that we don't know who bought them. It's not the weirdest thing in the world, but it's strange. I assume we'll find out more soon. I gotta I'm putting a sticker on. There's no indent for this sticker, but it is a shoulder sticker, so I'm going to apply that here to B17. I'm going to apply the sticker, and then we'll continue working on the arm here, now that we're done with the chest and the head. So yeah, no indent for this sticker, so I'll just apply it to my liking, where I think it best belongs, and it'll be okay. Can I see it in any photo of this? Okay, yeah. Yes. All right. So it's a triangle. I have the wrong sticker. This is the V. I think this goes on the V. I think this goes on the chest. I pulled the wrong sticker out. But yeah, so mixed, question mark, not sure. Here's a fun little bit of business that came out this week that I was like, what? Oh, okay. Good, you confirmed. The Switch 2 is going to be backwards compatible. This feels like a no-brainer, but also people were worried that it wouldn't be. So enough people were worried that Nintendo had to be like, yeah, we're not talking about our next thing. When we talk about it, we will talk about it. Don't worry. But the next thing we'll play Switch games. So great. Before the end of the next fiscal year, we'll know about it. But it will be compatible. They tweeted out Furukawa, Shintaro Furukawa, the Nintendo president, was just like, also, the Nintendo Switch Online will work on it. And these things feel like, yes, please keep giving us money for online stuff. Yes, Lord Crashington, please keep using the Nintendo Online. Please keep playing the games you've been playing. Buy games you haven't bought yet. But also, don't worry about buying digital games or carts because they'll work on the next thing. Now, will those digital games actually work on the next thing? Will you have to rebuy them? Nintendo. Nintendo's going to Nintendo. But if you're buying cartridges for the Switch, they will work on the sequel to the Switch, the next Switch, the Switch 2, which people are calling it, but of course isn't the name. At this point, I just pay for a family account so my niece can play old NES games on her Switch. Hell yeah. Yes. And then, like, I don't know, maybe something comes along that piques your interest. You know, I don't know. Something comes up. You want to do something. It's always possible. So we're going to hear about the next game sometime, or the next system, I should say, sometime before March 31st. And it's going to launch next year. That's what I can tell you. And that's about it. Other than it's they've sold over 1 billion Switch software titles, and they've sold 154 million Switches and Switch Lites, and that's a lot. The way some people are acting, that thing is just like the Hollow Knight Silk Song. I think it's because it's just been a while, and people, like, there are people who are just like, it's an interesting thing where the PS5 and the new Xbox just came out. They didn't just come out, but those just came out. But the Switches existed forever, and I think part of that is because people played the Switch a lot in 2020, which was only 4 years ago, but also was fucking 4 years ago. And I think that's just it, is that people's perception of the Switch, also with the Switch not being a future-proof system that in kind of early on in many instances felt dated, I think it feels very dated now. And so people are less inclined to be extremely active about talking about it, because they're like waiting for the next thing. And then obviously you all remember when people were like, oh, there's a new Switch, they're going to do a Switch OLED and blah, blah, blah. And everybody had this thing that maybe those things did exist at one point, but then they were like, actually, no, we're not doing that. So I think people have just been waiting for the next Switch so long that the idea, like, yeah, the reason why they're saying that it'll be backwards compatible is because people were convinced that it wouldn't be. There was a segment of the online population that were convinced that it couldn't be backwards compatible. And I don't know why they thought that, but enough people thought that Nintendo had to be like, fine, we don't want to talk about this thing until we're ready to talk about it, but we'll fucking tell you, assholes. It'll fucking work. So anyway, that's good news. Here's a fun bit of business. Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. Oh, Jesse says, yeah, that's silly. All Nintendo would need to do is keep it on ARM architecture and it would have no issues. Yeah, I don't know. But people got in their fucking heads that shit wasn't going to be backwards compatible, which is wild, because Nintendo, more than just about any company, Nintendo understands that if you buy a system at launch and there aren't that many games, you'll buy a game you missed out on the last one. Or you'll play the games and then they can get you on the online. Like they're backwards in many ways, but they do understand that, like, they know that people bought GameCube games to play on their Wii when they were waiting for new Wii games, and they were like, well, I didn't buy this on GameCube, I'll buy this now. They know they sold GameCube games because of the Wii. Like, come on. Anyway, Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. Many people knew that for years that Suzetta Minette, the listed voice actress for Eva, was not a real person and did not exist. And that was a fake name. And there was always a bit of a mystery out there for some fans as who is the voice of Eva in Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. Apparently, in order to help sell Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater, the remake, they, in part of the promotional cycle, they're like, hey, we can now tell you that the voice actress was Jodie Benson. And it's been Jodie Benson this entire time. Now, this could be part of marketing. This also could be them realizing she asked, maybe, who knows? Hey, can you actually credit me? Maybe it's because of certain contracts that she had. I don't know the real reason, if it's purely marketing or if it's a make good. I don't know. But they're doing a documentary. David Hayter was just like, hey, here's some stuff about the remake. Also, it's still coming out this year. People don't think it's actually coming out in December. It's probably getting pushed, but they're still doing the promotional cycle like it is coming out in December. So you may know her best as the voice of Ariel from The Little Mermaid. And okay, so her name was not in the Metal Gear Solid 3 credits. And it's because she was doing a lot of child stuff, things for kids. She was doing a lot of kid-friendly stuff, and I guess didn't think that being in a video game like that would be good for her career, it seems like, which I guess makes sense, but also to me is like, I don't know, it's just a goddamn credit. So she says, when we recorded, David and I were in the studio together back in 2003. Just the various projects that I am affiliated with in my career are sort of family-friendly, child-based, things like that. So it's actually Chris Zimmerman Sautler, who was the voice director. She kind of sat down with me and she was like, maybe we need to change your name. And apparently that name was the name of her childhood pet. And that's why that name is in the credits. So I guess her childhood pet was named Suzette Monet, which seems weird, but sure, I don't know. Parts of that story feel apocryphal, but what do I know? I'm just a fucking guy. I don't know. Last Brick wants a better cart system for the Switch 2. They changed developers they charge developers a boatload of money for bigger storage sizes. Yes, I mean that would be nice. I don't know how it's gonna work out, but it would be nice. That would be a good thing. All right, so this is gonna go into this, and then this goes like this. And that goes like that. And now we just do a little panel lining. But otherwise, our arm is done. We have completed an arm. They don't have me do the hands for this arm here, it looks like. Because this arm holds there's different. There's arms that hold weapons. I'll just do that one. I'll just do that. I'm just going to do the hand that holds a weapon, and we'll put a weapon in its hand later. But just so we don't just have an arm without a hand on it. I don't like that. Giving you put a full first and last name is weird. Yes, having a pet with it's an odd thing. Maybe it's one of those things where they adopted a pet that had that name and they just kept it because adoption agencies and no kill shelters and all that just sometimes have to get weird and wild with names. Because they name a lot of pets, a lot of animals. Let's see. At least one fan directly confronted her about it in 2017, apparently. 7 years ago at various conventions where we'd meet and greet with wonderful fans, someone slipped one of the wonderful games to my table. And I said, "Why are you bringing me that?" And he said, "Because you're in it." And I said, "Do you know? Do you know my deep, dark secret?" He said, "Yes, I do know." And she was like, "Keep it a secret," which is very funny. And look, again, a lot of people were like, this, internet sleuths. Internet sleuths happen to be right this time, but they're often very wrong. But it's a fun bit of business, and I like that story. Again, who knows how apocryphal these are, but for whatever reason, she didn't put her name in the credits. Now she's honest about it, and the mystery has been solved, and that's fun. Again, I don't think that remake's coming out this year, but the press cycle continues. I guess I'm glad that dude didn't try to make that a big thing. Yeah, the fan. I mean, a fan was just like, "I'd like you to sign this," and I think she was playing along because she probably got a kick out of it. But yeah, I mean, people have been apparently trying to figure this out for a long time because they realized that wasn't the name of an actual actor or voice actor. That was a fake name. All right, so we panel line the arm, clean that up, then we'll build the hands here, and then we'll move on to other arm, and we'll get that other arm going. One thing did want to say here. I talked about Mass Effect and how the N7 day was basically like, hey, we shipped a video game, so like we're not doing anything wild for this, but hey, there's a Mass Effect TV show coming out at some point, which is, like that's fun. All right, so I need B. For this arm, I need B9 and A6. This is A. So A6 is this one, and then B9. We need to get a B9. But there is another Mass Effect thing, which is there's some Mass Effect stuff in No Man's Sky. And that is bearing the lead, but we'll lead in with that. Let's see. Yeah. Mass Effect's Normandy SR1 is returning to the game. It was in there previously. You could earn it in 2021. And anyone who's been playing since then can get the Normandy, and that's cool. But that is the small thing because they're doing some cloud saving stuff. They got a PS5 Pro support where you can play No Man's Sky in 8K, PSSR support, sharper resolution, higher frame rates, improved lighting, ultra quality reflections, high quality ambient collision, 4K at 60 frames per second, 8K at 30 frames per second, and also a huge upgrade to PSVR 2 if that's how you like to play. But also the cloud saves are cross-platform. So you can use your save. Your save can be transferred from PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, PC, and PSVR and PSVR 2. If you bought it in a place and you have a save, you can transfer that save, and that's pretty fucking great. Because imagine you bought No Man's Sky on the Switch, and since then you have gotten a PC that's pretty damn good, or you have a new flashy console, and you were like, oh, now you're like, I guess I'll fucking transfer my save. That's wild and very cool, and I love that No Man's Sky just gets so many strange updates. That game's journey has been wild. And it's fun, so good on you. But yeah, cloud saves and a bunch of other stuff, upgrades and stuff. And that's cool. And basically, people were like, "Hey, you've been talking about this. Why did it take so long?" Sean Murray was just like, "Adding cross save for us is a little bit like moving house. The longer people have lived there, the more complicated it is to move them. We also have players who played once at launch 8 years ago, suddenly loading up the save on a platform that didn't even exist back then." And both of those things make a lot of sense. Those are both things where I'm like, yeah, I bet that is fucking difficult. Okay, yeah, man. That makes a lot of fucking sense. Why you'd be like, the challenges of, yeah, someone who played at launch suddenly wanting to play it on a system that didn't exist then, and playing it for years and years makes the saves more difficult to transfer than, than like a new save. It's like, okay, yeah, I don't fucking know. That makes sense to me. Okay, now so for some not fun news. Sega is delisting a lot of games. 60 games across console and PC digital storefronts. If you already own them, you will still be able to download them in the future if you got deleted, delisted. But it does mean that these classic games you will not be able to buy in the future. It's probably so they can sell to you again, because that is everybody's fucking MO. Or they want remake. They want the remakes to sell, or they want the remakes of the remakes to sell. There's a variety of reasons they could be doing this. It's shitty. If you already own them, you can still download them, as I said, but it's still bad, and I don't like it. The games were removed on December 6th. Players who list will still play them. Select Sega classics will still be playable for... and so some of those are staying on Nintendo Switch Online, and some of them are going off Nintendo Switch Online, which is fun. The Sega Genesis Classics is getting removed from PlayStation and Switch. A bunch of stuff is being removed from Xbox, including some that are Xbox 360 backwards compatible. And on Steam, 62 Sega games are going delisted. And it's going to be harder to play a bunch of those games. New. And that sucks. The official list is long, and I will not read all of them, but I will read some of them. Alex Kidd in the Enchanted Castle, Alien Soldier, Alien Storm, Altered Beast, Beyond Oasis, Beyond Biohazard Battle, Bonanza Bros. I'm going to read all of them now. Turns out I'm reading all of them. Columns 3, Columns 2, not affected. Comic Zone, Crackdown, 2 words. Crackdown. Crazy Taxi, Decap Attack, Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, Dreamcast Collection Bundle, Dynamite Heady, Echo Jr., Echo the Dolphin, Echo the Tides of Time, E-SWAT, City Under Siege, Eternal Champions, Fatal Labyrinth, Flicky, Galaxy Force 2, Gain Ground, Golden Axe 2, Golden Axe 3, Gunstar Heroes, Jet Set Radio, Kid Chameleon, Landstalker, The Treasure of King Noel, Light Crusader, Mega Drive and Genesis Classic Bundle, Nights into Dreams, Phantasy Star 2, Phantasy Star 3, Generations of Doom, Phantasy Star 4, The End of the Millennium, Rise Star, Sega Bass Fishing, Shadow Dancer, Shining Force 2, Shining in Darkness, Shinobi 3, Return of the Ninja Master, Sonic Blast 3D, Space Channel 5 Part 2, Space Harrier 2, Streets of Rage 2, Streets of Rage 3, Super, Thunder, Blade, Sword of Vermilion, The Revenge of Shinobi, Toe Jam and Earl and Panic on Funkaton, I should say. Sorry, it's not Funkatron, it's Funkaton. Vector Man 2, Virtual Fighter 2, Wonder Boy in Monster World, and Wonder Boy 3, Monster Lair. Okay, so Columns 2 is an arcade exclusive, apparently. That's very funny. Yeah, so it was that was an arcade only that they then put out as a classic collection. So these weren't necessarily just Genesis games. These are just old ass Sega games that they're like, actually, new people can't buy these. And you're like, do you think that people that want to play your remake of Crazy Taxi or your next Crazy Taxi game will see that there's an old Crazy Taxi game? I'll just buy that instead? Is that the theory? Because I don't have a good answer for this. Because, like, what the fuck? Like, hey, how come people can't buy Sega Bass Fishing on Steam? What's happening? It just feels very strange. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck's going on there, but it's weird, and I don't like it. Those are not great ports of Crazy Taxi anyway. Yeah, some of these are not great ports. I do know that. I think I own a few of these. I think there was a deal on Comic Zone. I've owned Comic Zone so many times, but I think there was a deal on Comic Zone one time. At this point, I do not think I will purchase a new compilation of Sega games. Yeah, Jetsu, I think that's a fair thing. They already got me with the Sonic Ultimate Genesis collection on the PS3 and the PSP and the Genesis collection on the Switch and the collection on Steam. They got my money, a lot of it turns out. Yeah, at a certain point. Like, look, remakes, I understand, refreshes. There are some games that exist out there that there isn't good emulation of those games because of systems they came out on. And so sometimes people are like, well, if they're putting out a collection, I'll get that. I want to support this. I have fond memories of this game, so I want to get it again. All those things, I think, or there was a fucking sale and all this shit is really priced well, so I'm going to get it. Like, I got it. One day they'll release Panzer Dragoon Saga. Yeah, someday. Someday they'll do that. In other shit news in the video game industry, man, we talk about layoffs. A study has found that 21% of game developers in Europe were laid off in between 2023 and 2024. So within the past year, 21% of European devs were laid off. HR and QA hit the hardest. This is part of the Big Games Industry Employment Survey. 21% of game devs in Europe have been impacted by layoffs. Obviously, some of those people got rehired other places. Some people left the industry. Some people went indie. Some people have been laid off at multiple places. Participants were asked if they had changed job in the last year. Of those, 15% said they were laid off and found a new job. 6.9 were similarly made redundant and are still looking for work. So that's 15 that found new work, 6% that did not find new work. Others have either remained employed, 55.6% still have their job within the last year. And then 23% of those that were part of the survey, because there's still a percentage that we didn't get to, Pat, 23% left of their own volition, which you can't say doesn't also have to do with the fact that so many people were laid off. If 21% were made redundant, or laid off, then you have to imagine that some point of the 23% were like, actually, what if I didn't work in this fucking industry? What if I bounced? Most affected by these layoffs work in HR, 32% of those that were affected. QA, which is 28% of those impacted. Many employees in both fields ended up switching to another field or leaving gaming entirely. Most European devs laid off past year have managed to find new jobs elsewhere. Yeah. Those surveyed felt that the three most at-risk jobs were localization, sound, and art design. PR, founding, co-founder, and community were all considered the least likely to be at risk. Because, of course, this is obviously part of the survey. When asked, who do you think is in the least worst position, the best position, founder/co-founder would also be my answer. They'd be like, yeah, you know who's probably okay? People that run this company are probably going to be just fine. They're probably not laying themselves off. 10% of respondents said they ended up switching to work at a non-game industry, and 31% of those were former junior staff at a game company. So about half, or about a third of the people that left were new. More from this survey, 55% of developers based in European Union countries, including the UK and Switzerland, cited professional burnout as a major issue at their workplace, followed by unprofessional management and lack of appreciation. Workers outside those territories had similar sentiments. 61% pointed out burnout, then management, and a lack of appreciation. So the way that they agree, shit's fucked. Let's get the other part of this arm done here. Another big challenge concerns discrimination. 32% of respondents say they have encountered gender discrimination, followed by a discrimination of age, 26%, and national origin or language, 17%. Of course, talking about Europe, lots of languages, lots of national origin. Not all Europeans, of course. Not all Europeans, not all people listed there are Europeans. There's a larger thing about here is insight into salaries for European developers and the most desired studios to work at based on feedback from from these workers. The full read is available at a Google Drive. The Big Games Industry Employment Survey has a Google Drive with the whole thing. If you are interested in perusal, you can do that at your leisure. But yeah, 21% of the industry had at least were at some point were laid off. Not great. Shit's fucked. Yeah. And one last news here. A bunch of more people were laid off at Kotaku. And these are people that were brought in when they laid off a bunch of other people at Kotaku. This is Willow Rowe and Moses Taveras, who were added this year. They got laid off by management. And then also senior editor Alyssa Mercante left after 2 years. She announced today that was not part of the layoff. It's just a coincidence or not, or writing on the wall, or they were like, let's slip this in while she leaves. I don't know. I do not know how that came about, but yeah. So now they're just laying off people that they hired with the dumb ideas to fit with just complete layoffs and departure. They're now 6 people, so that's a third of their workforce. Kotaku had 9 people on staff, and they laid off 2, and then their head left. That's not great. Also, their editor-in-chief has only been there for a couple months because the previous editor-in-chief quit. Carolyn Petit wrote on Blue Sky, Geo Media's management is once again punishing workers for its own bad decisions. Management mandated that some writers stick to service posts, and now the numbers aren't panning out. Surprise, surprise. 2 of those writers have been laid off. Cruel and misguided. Yeah, they didn't hit ridiculous quotas that no one could hit, that everyone told them were a ridiculous thing to say, And then when they couldn't do it, they got laid off because, of course, they couldn't. Kotaku is one of the last remaining websites in Geo's media portfolio, following the recent sale of everything from The Onion to Jalopnik and Deadspin of sorts. I will say a lot of people who write for Kotaku are freelance. They have heavily gone to freelance. I still use Kotaku. Several stories we talked about today were taken from Kotaku. When I prep for a stream, I look for news from Kotaku. I also look for news on Game Developer because I like GameDeveloper.com. Because I do like their take. They are business focused. They often do not have a slant in their coverage, which sometimes feels like more like press releases on things. Some writers have more of a bite than others. Like Danielle Rienzo. Often you feel Danielle's thoughts on a thing when she's writing about something, where you might not necessarily for other writers there. Sometimes it does feel like more like a PR thing, but they're focusing on business, so they report on business shit, which is also a lot of press release stuff. But yeah, it's rough. Shit's rough out there, and will continue to be so as folks are talking out there on the internet. They're getting their voice heard. They're talking through it, some stuff, and some conversation came up about like, where is the money in left-wing media? Why is there no money in left-wing media? And the answer is because left-wing media or left-leaning media often the farthest left stuff often talks about capitalism in a negative light, big businesses in a negative light, corporate greed in a negative light, and rich people don't like that. So you have odd situations where like The Onion kind of exists because just media in general seems to have like no money. Well, Jatsu, that's the thing, right? Like there is media that has some money. It's just that it caters to an audience that the people supplying it with money like. Like there are so few cases like The Onion, where some guys that have a sense of humor and remember really liking The Onion bought The Onion, and The Onion is apparently, according to people who are working there, of course, so with a grain of salt, are pretty fucking psyched about working at The Onion now. It seems pretty good. They're pretty pleased with being at The Onion right now. There are very few people out there doing that for anything that is not awful. And then the other media that is out there is owned by people who don't have any business owning anything and are not there because they like it. So they just need it to exist to make them money, but they have no idea about the businesses they've been a part of. You know, a la Ziff Davis buying Humble Bundle and then not understand Humble Games, I should say. Humble Bundle makes money, and while making it seem like that Ziff Davis cares about charity, Humble Games didn't really make money, or didn't make money on a continuous timeline. And so Ziff Davis is like, well, what do we do with this shit? Because they didn't want that. They want the storefront. They want the people buying things. Game development is slow. What? Yes. Yes, Jasu. A lot of these things are loss leaders now. They exist as vanity projects. The problem is that the people who feel vain about it are the richest people in the world or big companies, and they at best they're loss leaders, but the losses, they're not in a period where they want that anymore. Yeah, because a lot of Jesu. When you said they have like no money, yeah, what I'm saying is what I was trying to say is, there are only so many people out there that are willing to lose money for cool shit that people like us think is cool shit. There are a lot of people that are willing to lose money on shit that fucking sucks. And that's a big problem. Shout out, as I say quite often, shout outs to Dropout. I have friends that work there. Sam and I go way back. Lots of love for Sam. Dropout is currently dealing with a lot of fucking bullshit, and their safety of some of their employees is questionable at this moment because they are loud and proud, cool fucking people. And so, of course, by the very nature of that, they are dealing with a lot of fucking bullshit. And they rule. So lots of love to them. But yeah, one of the only companies out there, you subscribe on iOS, it doesn't cost you any more than if you subscribed through the web, because they eat the cost. One of the only companies doing that work still to this day. You don't have to pay the iOS tax because they just lose money. Because they'd rather have loyalty than get a few more percentage point. It's all. I'll just get even more depressed thinking about it. So I'm going to think about it less and just say, support small media, support small creators. If you use Aftermath a lot, consider subscribing to Aftermath. If you use 404 Media a lot, consider subscribing to 404 Media. If the thing that you visit has a Patreon, like But Why Though, who are in financial trouble at this point. If you like smaller media, and you find yourself visiting websites day after day, and those sites have ways for you to financially support them, that is great, and please consider it. Yeah, nobody's got fucking money. I know. Nobody's got any money. If you do have money, spend on stuff you like, if you can. Support people in the indie community, indie music, indie games, indie movies, whatever it is. Indie VTubers, indie streamers, however you can, if you can. Yeah. And I didn't mean for this to be the segue into the pause for the cause. I was just going to talk about GO. Yes, indie games like Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Indeed. Support that Atlantis game, the LucasArts Indiana Jones Atlantis game. It needs your support now more than ever. I did not mean for this transition to be happening right now, but we are transitioning right now, and here we are to the pause for the cause, where I talk about ways you can support this channel if you are so inclined. It's all optional. If you want to, you can. You are under no obligation to do so. I try to make it as easy as possible. There are a variety of ways to support what I do here. If you are currently a subscriber to the Build-A-Ware Workshop, you can throw the Bear Cave, the Lego, the Scythe, the Tier 2 blue emote in chat. Being a subscriber is the easiest way to support what I do here through Cash Money or your Prime Gaming token. If you have Amazon Prime linked with your Twitch, you get a token. You can use that token for anybody. If you want to use it for me, that would be cool. I would say that would be pretty neat. If you wanted to do that. You could gift a sub. It's a new month. We got a blank gift sub leaderboard. If you want to be the top of the leaderboard, you can gift a sub to somebody in the community anonymously, or you could get credit for it, and we all be like, oh, hell yeah. Bits and coins always appreciated if you want to join the cheer leaderboard. Twitch is probably the easiest way to support me because you're already here watching this stream, so you could do that if you wanted to. But there are other ways to support me if you'd like. What are the other ways to support me? I know that. Oh, yeah. Let me bring up the way to do it. I have a Patreon at patreon.com/PatBear. Over my Patreon, there's a $1, $3, $5, and $10 tier. There are different rewards for different tiers. Consider joining me on Patreon. If you are already on Patreon, please vote on what I do next Tuesday, the Patreon's choice. Right now, Power Wash Simulator Shrek Pack, we'll continue to do the Shrek Pack as we did it previously. We'll keep going on that. Is winning the poll of 3 different video games, but make your voice heard about what I should be doing with that. If you're at the $3, $5, or $10 tier, you get to vote on that. $1 tier, you don't get to vote on that, on my poll for what I'm doing next Tuesday, which is Patreon's choice. I think I have 3 pretty good options there. And Trek Pack, that's winning. We'll do that. I like Power Wash Simulator, so sure. I have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/PatBear. Over my YouTube, you can subscribe if you would like. It's free. I would love for you to do that. You can see my videos, including a WW2K24 video that I made based on Saturday's stream, where I explain how to fix slowdown. Because it was a thing I didn't know was an option. So now I'm sure other people didn't know that, so I made that video. But also on my YouTube channel, you can become a member for just $2 a month. You get my Wednesday videos on Tuesday. So the video that went up yesterday, which I'll talk about soon, you would have been able to see that on Tuesday. You would not have had to wait till Wednesday, like a sucker. Those are all monthly ways to support me. If you want to help me out, just as a tip, you want to throw something in the tip jar, I've got a Ko-Fi and a PayPal. Obviously, all this is optional, but everything I make through direct donations like that, through YouTube, which includes AdSense. So watching my videos on my YouTube channel helps me out. Put on a video, and while you're doing other stuff in the background, watch one of my many videos. Ads will play, or if you're on YouTube Premium, if an ad was going to play, I get the money as if that ad played. So do that. My Patreon and my Twitch all goes into a fund. Out of that fund, I take money out, and that money, I buy model kits and other things with that. I have the kit that we're currently working on tonight, which is, again, the RGM-79D GM Gold Districts type high grade. We're working on that. That was bought with money from previous support. So past you is helping out present me. The next thing that I'll be working on is a Lego set that was purchased off my Amazon wish list. It is the Lego 3-in-1 flowers in a water pot. Lego 3-in-1, where we also can build some birds and flowers in a boot. So it's a Lego 3-in-1. That's the next thing I'm going to be building because an anonymous person purchased that off my Amazon wish list for me to build. And I was like, hell yeah, I'll build that. That's going to build next once this is done. If you also would like a video on my YouTube channel about the thing you purchased and to have something be built on stream ahead of my queue, you could do that. You could buy something off my Amazon wish list. I have a bunch of things on here. I've got Lego sets, model kits, inexpensive kits, expensive kits. I recently added a few things. I want to give a shout out, mention that the Mega Constructs Pokemon Motion Doug Trio. It's a Doug Trio that like moves when you build the model moves. That is currently on sale. If you want me to build that, I got a bunch of stuff. I got some knockoff Lego. I got some model kits. I recently added some more Lego stuff, some more kits. I'd be happy to build all this stuff. More stuff from Gundam Seed Freedom, the movie, because those things look rad. But yeah, if you see something on the list you'd like to see me build, you can purchase it. There's some gear at the bottom because it's always nice to have some gear options. Like if you want me to have another internal hard drive, you could buy me a hard drive. I don't know, or a better video capture card than the one I'm currently using for my overhead camera. That would be nice to have a box like that. It would increase the quality of the overhead camera stuff quite a bit. The one I have is manageable, but that's a chip based, and the other ones would be like a external box based. Yeah, you can buy something there. My alternative to Amazon is my Throne wish list. I got to update that again. It's been a hot minute, but see if there's something there you'd like to buy if you don't want to use Amazon, which I get. And then the most convoluted way to support me financially is to go to USA Gundam Store. At USA Gundam Store, you get you can buy a gift card. They will send you an email with a gift card code. Then you can use that gift card code to send me a whisper here on Twitch or a DM on Twitter or Blue Sky or Mastodon with that gift card code. And then I will use that gift card code to buy something on USA Gundam Store. And again, it'll jump the queue, become the next thing that I build, and all of that. Let's see. If you want to support me and not spend any money, I got a Discord. You're welcome to join my Discord. We would love to have you over on the old Discord. That would be nice. And then, let's see. A couple of video links for you to check out. Pat Baer's Anime Club. I talked about an anime that gets a lot of shit for the wrong reasons, but also isn't that great. That's out this season. And I wanted to talk about it in a video, so I did. If you haven't seen that video, you can watch it. And then this week, new month, new theme for Kuma Baer. Kuma Baer, my ongoing video series where I recommend anime in under a minute because it's a YouTube short. And it's also on TikTok and Instagram, but primarily viewed on YouTube. And I talked about Hyoka because all of November is anime I personally slept on, and I don't want you to make the same mistake. So I'm talking about Hyoka, which is a detective series or a mystery solving series set at a high school about a dude that's just trying to like coast through life, but he's brilliant, and a young woman that he meets at when he's forced to join a club. The young woman who is so enthused about the world and about exploring things and understanding what's going on that he gets swept up in her energy, and their unlikely friendship and partnership leads to mysteries that are not low stakes. They are low stakes in the grand scheme of things, but for high school students, they are high stakes. And it's really intriguing. 22 episodes. I missed out on it at first. I think it's phenomenal. I didn't say it in the video, but shout outs to Songwon, ProZD, who was talking about it being one of his favorite shows. This is a few years ago. And I was like, well, if ProZD, I should try it. And I loved it. So shout out to ProZD for that. And just in general, ProZD rules. But, also for getting me to watch the show that turns out I really like. Oh, there's another sticker I got to put on, which I will in a second. I am going to be putting some stickers on. We're going to keep working on the skin. I'm going to panel line and then throw some stickers on this thing. Before I do that, I am going to drink some water, and we're going to dramatically transition to the overhead camera because I need to talk to you about some anime. But we need to dramatically transition to that camera, and we will do so now. All right. Okay, so this is the last weekend's episode of Dragon Ball Daima, because I did not talk about anime on Saturday because I was not doing a building stream. And then Monday, I talked about 2 other shows. So I'm talking about this episode, and then we'll talk about the next one because I think I'm committed. I'm gonna watch episode. At the very least, I can tell you, week to week, I want to watch the next episode because a new character got introduced that I kind of want to know what's going on with her. Because it's Dragon Ball does not have a lot of ladies in it, and I'm hoping that this demon girl that got introduced, spoilers to the end of this episode, I'm hoping she gets to do shit and is cool. And so I'd like to at least find out what's going on with her. So if you haven't been watching Dragon Ball Daima, it's a new series, Dragon Ball. Unlike GT, where Goku got made small and young, all of his friends, anyone that had something to do with Boo being defeated, got made small because what's his fucking name? Goma, who is the new leader of the Demon Dimension, is afraid that Goku could defeat them. So instead, they made them all kids with the Dragon Balls, and then they kidnapped Dende, who is in charge of the Dragon Balls, the Earth's Dragon Balls. So they gotta go track them down. We got Shin, Goku, and Glorio, who is a guy who he's part of the Demon Realm. He does not like the current order of things, and he would like to help out. At the end of the previous episode, Glorio's spaceship got fucking stolen by bandits or something. And so that's obviously not good. Goku's like, we should fly. And then there's a whole conversation about how because where they are in the air, it's hard to fly. And but then they eventually do fly, kind of, sort of. So that was a weird conversation. Because they walk for a while. There's a monster. They found out, they learned more about the Sea of Darkness. Goku beats up a monster. That's fun. Then there's a whole conversation with the owners of a restaurant where they try to get an aircraft. And they get, for money, they get a sky seed. They learn about bugs. Bugs are basically senzu beans. Like the equivalent of a senzu bean on this dimension. There's ones that can help you out with your stamina. There are ones there's called a join bug, which is basically fusion. So we will see some sort of fusion, I guess, in this at some point. There's the revive bug. This may become important later, so I was just bringing it up. Turns out the sky seed is basically like they're getting shot out of a cannon, and they fly off, and then they hop off the sky seed before they fall in the ocean. And it's going to take half a day to walk. And while they're walking, they talk about the Demon's Realm Dragon Balls. Every world has a Dragon Ball, and there are guards, and you have to defeat the guards to get the balls. Shin wants to rescue Dende instead of trying to find the Dragon Balls. But Glorio says, why don't we collect the Dragon Balls and use the wish to rescue Dende? And then we can use the Earth's Dragon Balls to return you all to your regular bodies. And this is the point where I start thinking, is Glorio the villain? Or is Glorio a different antagonist? He's not the main antagonist. Is he another antagonist? Is he a scam artist? Is he using our heroes to get the hard to collect Demon Realm Dragon Balls so he can be the new ruler? Is that the twist? Is the twist that one of the companions is actually evil, aka one of the twists in Dragon Ball GT? Are we just doing Dragon Ball GT again? Is that what we're doing? Only instead of outer space, we're in the Demon Realm. So they agree with Glorio's plan, which again makes me instantly think that Glorio is up to no good. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm being an asshole about it. I don't know. Turns out on this world there's a military force for the current current ruler, the new king, and they're raising their taxes, the offerings. There's something referred to as magic collars. Goku wants to fight them, and Glorio's like, don't do that. Of course, Goku could fight them with no problem, but then word would get out. But Goku doesn't have to act immediately because a masked person shows up. And they throw a wasabi bomb at the police, and that doesn't do anything, but they tried. And then they run away and get chased. But then Goku steps in to save them. Because, of course, Goku is going to do that. Goku's a good guy. Little Goku saved the day. And then they run. And the masked person reveals that they are a demon girl. And we don't know her name. But we will learn her name. And yeah, like I said at the beginning of this, I kind of want to know about this girl. There are so few female characters in Dragon Ball. She was introduced as being ineffective, which is a bummer. She immediately was ineffective. She tried to, fight the demon police, and immediately it didn't work out. But maybe there's more to her. Maybe she's got something going on. Maybe it was just a bad day. It would be cool if she's awesome, because female characters in Dragon Ball are few and far between, and sometimes not particularly awesome. So it would be great if she was. And I'll hopefully find out in the next episode, which I'll talk about on the next stream, which is on Saturday. So lucky y'all. You'll find out soon. Episode 5 of the Villainess. I'll Become a Villainess Who Goes Down in History. Episode 5. Again, episode 6 just came out. I'm still a week behind on it. Okay, so this is gonna go like this. All right. Oh, and there's a weird. There is a sticker that I'm putting on the butt of this kit, and that's strange. There's a couple stickers we got to put on here, but there's one that goes on the butt. We'll put that on in a bit. Let's get this on here. Let's get this all together. Let's get these stickers on. Okay, so our main character, who knows this is a world based on an Otome game, and is psyched to be the villainess, and she's going to be the best villainess in the world. But of course, her idea of what it means to be a villainess is to keep the main character on her toes, and she's doing villainy the right way. She's just sometimes a little bit of a mean-mouthed hero. She is very concerned about the village where outcasts live, and she gets a report on Rona that is the place that some of the people that live there have some hope that they may be able to change their lives for the better. And our girl's influence is Alicia's influence is rubbing off on them, which is great. That's butt sticker's best sticker. Yes, Lord Crashington. So she's getting some positive feedback about some of the changes she's been making to the zone, which is awesome, because she cares about those people. And then her brother Henry shows up and starts talking to Alicia about Liz. Liz is the main character of the story. She is the hero of the Otome game, not the anime hero. And she seems to have, Alicia is supposed to keep an eye on her, and in doing so, Alicia has kind of been disliked by a lot of people because she is not under the thrall of Liz, and a lot of other people seem to be under the thrall of Liz, including Alicia's 3 older brothers, but not one of them. As I said, Henry has broken away from Alan and seems to be on Alicia's side. So Albert and Alan are still Team Liz, but it looks like Henry isn't, which is an interesting twist there. So she does have an ally. The king, has been really focused on this generation because his son is in that generation. A lot of the kids, he grew up with a bunch of these people who are going to be the next king supporters. Liz is the saint. Alicia's there. So Alicia's kind of been roped into a lot of this stuff. In the video game, this was a saintess test, but our character is looking at it as like a villainous test. She's like, okay, let's see what I can do as the villain, as the villainess, I should say. Because Liz has been invited. Alicia challenges Liz on some of her terrible ideas and pushes Liz to come up with solutions that are actually beneficial. But she's, of course, disliked for doing that, for sure. And the king is pleased with those responses. And so Alicia is pleased with what she did. She's like, hell yeah, I'm doing a great job of being a villain. And by being a villain, we mean pushing Liz the Saint to be a little less idealist and a little more like realist. That scene is long about her talking about all that. Alicia has a scene with Duke. Remember that Duke is the name of the crown prince. The crown prince's name is Duke, and that is annoying because there are a lot of people with titles, but Duke is the crown prince. He is way too into Alicia. There's not a big age gap, but it is still annoying and weird. And I think I'm supposed to like him, but I don't know. I don't. And yeah, he's being really clingy. It could be that he is attempting to forcefully fight off Liz's influence, which may be theoretical, or it may be like she's unaware she's doing it. It may be on purpose, but maybe not. Because Gil, who is Alicia's assistant, is basically just like, is she using like magic to manipulate, which is unheard of, but maybe she's doing it subconsciously. She doesn't know. And then apparently Alicia just tells Henry, she finally confides in her brother Henry, who is now on her side, hey, this is my plans for the future. I'm going to be the greatest villainess in the world. And Henry does not get it, because to him, this is still his 13-year-old sister talking a weird big game, and he doesn't buy it, but he's bemused about it. And it was fun. And it was like, I don't know, it's a funny scene. And then this episode gets dramatic because Gil and Alicia get kidnapped. Alicia gets knocked out, and at the end of the episode, she's awakened. Gil has been beaten up. She's been kidnapped by various people, and that is the cliffhanger of this episode. Is that some people with some weapons who would kidnap Alicia? How did they manage to do it so easily? And how did they get so close to both of them? We'll find out next week. That episode's already out. Like I said, I'm still a week behind on it. I'm really enjoying this one. This and Do-Over Damsel are both pretty solid. Do-Over Damsel is... she's more capable than Alicia, the main character, whose name escapes me at the moment. she's definitely more capable because that's time regression as opposed to like waking up in a body. We don't get to see Alicia be powerful, but Alicia is really fun, and her dynamic of being a girl that is like so weird, like weirdly obsessed with being the proper villainess, which just means that she's a bit of a harsh lady but cool as hell, is very fun, and I'm really digging it. This kit, we build the waist instead of starting at the feet. I always like that. Oh, these arms pop off real easy. Again, this kit was designed in 2003. This is not the 2003 release. This is a reissue. I don't know when it came out, but it's still, the design is still 2003. So like these arms, I'm going to put weapons in these arms, and these arms are going to fall off so easy because I might need to put some blue tack on here. These are really loose. And then, yeah, but I do like building the waist before we build feet. And in fact, the next thing we're building is we're going to build both feet, and we're going to then build one of the parts of the leg here. So we'll do that. But we're going to build all of one leg and then all of the other leg. But then I don't know why we don't just start with both feet, but whatever. I'm gonna follow what they tell me. Just do what they say there. Now is the part of the stream where I want to hear from you, friends. Hey, we don't have to get into it. We can get into it. What are you watching right now? Look. A big element of these streams and my streaming career has been entertainment, not escapism, right? So we don't hide. We talk about things. They come up. Is there anything you're excited about this week? Things you're looking forward to this weekend? Movies, TV shows you've been watching? Ghost Valve says, hey, Ghost Valve says comfort watching stuff and Mass Effect. Yeah, I mentioned Hyoka. I did not plan November to be... I planned November to be shows that were things that I... yeah, Jesse, not excited about stuff? Totally understand. Yeah, I planned November to be where I talked about shows that series that I thought were pretty fucking solid, but I missed out on when they first came out. Hyoka, a great show. If you want fall vibes, Flying Witch. I've promoted Flying Witch so many different ways, so many different times. I would say Flying Witch is a great series, a great comfort anime if you're looking for something chill and fun. That's a lovely series that has big fall energy. Yeah. Rubik Darkwill says Bus is coming. Bus is coming. Desert Bus for Hope. We will, of course, be rating that after every stream starting on Saturday. We'll do that every time we can. I did a This or That will be done on Night Watch. Not sure when it's going to show up on Night Watch, but it will show up on Night Watch. I'm excited about it. It was based on a pun idea that I came up with in like June of this year. And so I've had it written down in a document for months, and then finished it in October. I think the beginning of October I finally finished that, but I knew what it was. I just had to get it done. I'm excited. I've got a little bit. Your This or That's a Classic. I appreciate that. It was so fun for me to find out that. I mean, it sucked because they just had to wait for the answers. The year that I did, is this a real or fake series or movies from Fate, one of the Fate series? I didn't know that Ian had watched all of those. I just didn't know that Ian would know that Ian and Corey knew those movies and TV shows. I would never have guessed. So that one wasn't super successful, but it was fun for me to make up a bunch of fake names for Fate stuff and a bunch of that. That was fun. But yeah, that started with like Magic Card. I think it was Magic Card or Isekai, I think was the first one I did. Then I did the one that was like Animeni or Animistake, was last year's, which was either it's a series that's had a lot of seasons or a lot of episodes, a long running show, or a thing that got canceled. And that one I was really proud of. Wrestling Faction or Wrestling Stable or Anime Faction, Villainous Organization, I'm very proud of. That was a hard one to research. This one has a both, which are the hard ones, and I'm excited about that. But yeah, I'm excited for Bus coming. Bus is coming. I'm excited about that. Mario and Luigi Brotherships that Lord Crashington purchased, which is rough to get into at first since they changed the main battle controls that every other game in the series had. Weird. It's getting better with practice. That's cool. Yeah, that I have heard not the best things about that game. I hope you find the joy in it. Also, Lord Crash is getting back into One Piece with this weird little arc involving icebergs and aggressive penguins. Are you talking about the Kung Fu Dugons? If you're talking about the Kung Fu Dugons. Oh wait, no. Is they involved in that? Yeah. I think you're talking about the Kung Fu Dugons, which are the best. I love those little guys. Lastbrick says, I grabbed all the Blu-rays I haven't opened yet the other night and decided to watch Hudson Hawk, and I don't care. I love that dumb movie. Lastbrook, that's a great dumb movie. I'm not here to tell you that's not a great dumb movie. There are people that didn't want it to be a dumb movie. They wanted it to be a kick-ass movie. But yeah, I understand. I gotcha. On Tuesday, if you missed my stream, I get it. We checked out the Survey Scramble, which is Jackbox's new thing. It is not a party pack. I had a lot of fun with it. It is, I think, these are the iceberg penguins. These are not the Kung Fu Dugon. That's right. Okay. Lord Crash, I don't remember these at all. Penguins that move icebergs. And it involves a family of bounty hunters that is headed up by a dude that can melt anything. I do not remember this at all, Lord Crashington. I thought for a second you were about to talk shit about the Kung Fu Dugons, and I was going to get fucking mad, because those little guys are fucking rad as hell. Love those Kung Fu Dugons. I thought we were talking about them. I don't remember this filler arc at all, Lord Crashington. Anyway, weird. It's like there are thousands of episodes or something. Yeah. I would say, if you were looking for some Jackbox fun, and you have people you play with in the world, in the IRL world, where you don't have to worry about a delay, I think Survey Scramble is really fun. I think some of those games work really well. If we stream it again, which we might, I don't think it would be part of. I wouldn't dedicate a whole stream to it, right? Unless they put out a lot more. Like, I know that the answers are going to be changing about some of them, which is fun because you can answer survey questions. You can throw in a bunch of things there. So, things will be changing. If they add more modes, maybe. I do think we might play it again on New Year's. Because New Year's is a Tuesday. And so you're like, well, Pat, you just do 3 hours of a video game on Tuesday. But here's the thing. It's the last Tuesday of the month. And that's when I would want to record an episode of Pat Baer's Anime Club Live, where I talk about the end of this fall season, my fall wrap-up, and my winter 2025 preview would happen. So I think my New Year's stream is going to be talk about anime, which is always over 2 hours anyway. We talk about anime and then play maybe some Jackbox Survey Scramble until we ring in the new year. And because I think that will be very fun and a fun way to do it. Instead of playing the same game for 3 hours, I just talk about anime for 2 hours plus, because it's usually well over 2 hours. And then we play some games starting at like 11-ish, and then run till midnight, and then ring in the new year. I've had very tentative. Basically, I was trying to plot out what I'm doing for the rest of this year for Pat Baer's Anime Club. what videos I'm going to be recording. This week I'm doing my recommendations for this season, and then I have my superlatives where I do my award ceremony thing for the year, like whatever shows like. I have those different categories of things. No show that I know of has had an Initial D reference this year, but I might give the award to a VTuber who did a music video that was Initial D reference. I might bring back that category and just give it to Iris for Carbonated Love. I don't think I'm going to do that, but I might do that. Because I do think that would be very funny. If I was like, oh, this isn't an anime, but here you go. I'll talk about it on Saturday. I watched a movie today on Amazon Prime, and we'll talk about that on Saturday because I want to sit with it a little bit. But hey, it's on Amazon Prime. I highly recommend Look Back. It is designated as a movie. It's basically a long OVA. It's like slightly under an hour. It is by the mangaka that made Chainsaw Man, but it is not a shonen. It is a drama about creativity and art and two young ladies. It is fucking phenomenal. It is not chill. It's wholesome in many ways, but there is drama. There's still twists, and it's really fucking good. And again, I'm going to want to talk more in detail about it on Saturday. But Look Back is fucking killer. And I'm so glad I watched it. Again, it's on Amazon Prime. It's like an hour. I watched it while I did some stuff at lunch where I could focus and just be there. It was really good. I want to see when did that movie hit theaters? Did that come out this year? Released in the United States this summer. Okay, so it did have a movie release, or it did have a U.S. release. Okay, yeah, all right. So it came out this summer, and then it's so weird because I never really talk about anime movies because I don't watch a lot of them because some of them come out in theaters, but usually they're like for a TV, they're like part of a TV show or whatever, and sometimes they're great. Suzume was fucking fantastic, but yeah, I just don't watch a lot. Yeah, it's 58 minutes is the runtime. G-Kids licensed it, and yeah, it came out today on Amazon Prime. It wasn't summer; it was like October. So it came out in Japan in June, and then it came out in the US. It was in theaters in July, Japanese with English subtitles, as part of a festival. That was the debut. And then in October, it hit wider theaters. So when I said it came out in the summer, it premiered in the summer in the US. That's what I meant. So my apologies for that. Let's see. But yeah, that one was really moving, and I really liked it. And it without getting into too much detail about it, it has made me rethink a thing. It has made me rethink an arbitrary rule, and so more to come on Look Back. I'll probably talk about it again on Saturday with a little bit more detail. No spoilers on that because it's an hour long and cool as hell. But I'll at least talk about it a little bit more. But I think I'm going to wrap things up here. We'll work on the legs here. I imagine that on Saturday we will finish this because all we have to do is the legs and the side skirts and the weapons. So I think by the end of Saturday's stream, we're going to complete this. And then we might even start, some Lego on Saturday, but I don't know. Because we did a lot today. We did The head, we did the arms, we did the waist, and we did the feet. So yeah, we'll do legs and weapons and shield on Saturday. Now is the part of the stream where I am going to wrap things up. Now, the party doesn't stop just because I'm finishing my stream. We are going to raid. We're going to go find some people doing cool stuff and go give them a bit of love. And I already know who we're going to raid, but I'm just going to double check and make sure that they're still going strong, because they should be. But yeah, we're going to raid Remap. Remap Radio. They are doing... the fine folks at Remap are raising aid for Palestine and Lebanon. There's donation pages there with some redirecting, and people can donate and send some messages and stuff. So we'll go support the fine folks there. Right now playing King of the Castle, so we'll go see what they're up to. I hope you come along on this raid. Would be nice if you could. And then also come back on Saturday at 9 p.m. Eastern for fun times of model kit building, anime talking, a bunch of other things and things will come up. On Saturday we'll raid the desert bus, but right now we're doing this. Thank you all so much for being here. I hope you have a great rest of your evening. I'll see you soon. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.